Good news, Vortex, that was not the 5-0 behind me. It was just some really big-ass truck. I don't even know why I'm nervous, because it's not as if I smoke weed. I used to have cops behind me, and I'd be like, blazed out of my mind. And it would make me paranoid, because I knew that I wasn't doing anything wrong. No matter what the laws are. You see, I've convinced myself that if something's not wrong, according to me, it's not wrong. Look, I want to show y'all. That's my house. That's my house. Isn't that beautiful? I told y'all I'd deck the fuck out. That's Roky. Say hi, Roky. Roky says hi. Yeah, so we named Christmas tree after the lead singer of the 13th Floor Elevators. One of the most underappreciated bands of the psychedelic rock era of the 1960s. Now this album came out in 1969, the one that we're listening to right now. And Peter Green, the spearhead behind Fleetwood Mac, reading the liner notes at work, it was pretty cool because this is the kind of shit that you find out in the liner notes. I guess you could find this shit out on Wikipedia too, but most people don't have that kind of motivation. At least not anymore. Maybe they did in the beginning of Wikipedia. But, oh yeah, I want to show you all this too. Fuck yeah. Say hi, Toni. She says hi. So, the founder of the band Fleetwood Mac named it after somebody else in the band, which is funny. Like, you never hear that, you know? Like, the Dave Brubeck Quartet was founded by Dave Brubeck. Dave Matthews Band, founded by Dave Matthews. You know? So that's interesting. But this dude, Peter Green, was on all this LSD and he ended up becoming this born-again Christian as a result of that. And everyone was like, oh, he's losing his mind, he's losing his mind. No, he's gaining his mind because he's realizing where it came from. They always do that. Anytime that you find Jesus, they're like, oh, you're schizophrenic! It figures that I would find Jesus eventually, considering that I've always had schizophrenia, so it was bound to happen, you know? It was only a matter of time before I'd read the scripture, courtesy of Donald Trump. Apparently, Donald Trump got his booster shot. Do you really believe that? I don't believe that, but that's what was said. It's funny, his followers aren't falling for it, but they're still falling for him, which doesn't make sense. So they're still going to support him, even though they don't support the main thing that he pushed. Now, granted, the more that I think about it, I feel like this is part of the bigger picture plan to take certain people out and make a lot of people more terrible than they already are, you know? Now, that's just my theory. I could be totally wrong. That shit could be the healthiest thing in the world, and I could be totally wrong about modern medicine, and I guess we'll figure that out pretty soon, you know? since our president, my president, he's still the president. I mean, I didn't vote for him, but he still is the president, unfortunately. But, you know, he said that, oh, it's going to be terrible, and we should be prepared to die. How ominous is that shit, man? I just have to laugh. Like, as fucked up as everything is, like, I'm always laughing about it, because it's just so ridiculous. But anyway. If I ever die and there's a funeral, I hope that this album is playing at the funeral. Or maybe it'll be a cremation. It'll probably be a cremation. I don't know. I mean, if I become Orthodox, I guess I'll have like an Orthodox funeral. That's cool. That's cool to have that guarantee, you know? If you have a community of church people, you have people that care about you and continue to ask about you, you know? I'm not even like technically Orthodox because I have to go through all this training and shit, you know? But I'm actually meeting with my priest tomorrow, and I really like it. I mean, I really agree with everything that I've read. It just makes sense to me. It's just logical, you know? The way that they interpret heaven and hell, the way that they look at the Holy Trinity. Like, I'm just reading about the history of it and why they do the things that they do, and it just makes so much sense to me. And it's really important to know what you're getting into before you get into it, and that's precisely the problem that so many people have with everything, you know, which is usually why they don't stick it out. But the orthodoxy just feels right. And the fact that so many people don't know about it just kind of proves that it's right. Because the less sheep know about it, the more it tends to be right. The more it tends to be accurate. You know? Like, very few people know about the agorist, anarchistic philosophy because, you know, very few people want to practice what they preach. You know, they're not willing to do that. They're willing to whine online about the things that they think are wrong with the world, but they're not willing to apply certain principles to their own life. They want everybody else to do everything for them. Now, I realize that I'm not this, like, you know, totally DIY person. Like, I'd love to have my own garden and be, like, procuring my own water out of the ground and like all this shit. I'd love to be doing that, but I'm not that hands-on. I probably should get to be that way, considering, you know, where we might be headed. Of course, there are all kinds of people online, specifically on YouTube, that are full of all these doomsday scenarios about what's coming, and they're making a lot of money doing that. And they don't even have to make literal money. Getting likes and getting attention and getting views, like, that's money. And that's all this energy that's being poured into something that may or may not come about. That's why I say that the end of the world is a booming business, okay? It's always the end of the world, honey. It really is. That's why we keep recycling. It's why this same shit keeps happening over and over and over again. This is just a really, really grotesquely obvious version of the same shit. The elite has always been evil, and they will always do really terrible stuff to the dumbed down masses. And the dumbed down masses will always call people like me crazy and conspiratorial and schizo. Now, they can use that as a pejorative all they want, but I like all of these compliments. I do. I take them all as compliments. So you tell me that I'm schizophrenic, that just means that I'm a kaleidoscope person. And when you're a kaleidoscope person, think of all the pretty colors in your head that all these boring ass people in the real world don't have any notion of. Like, they have no clue that those colors exist because they're too busy focusing on one color. Why do you think race is so popular?